Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Mathuram Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamaya Ki Jai. Srimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta. Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Right. So we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, 18th chapter, text 3. No buggies? Okay, thank you. I love the bugs, but not on me. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sa cha Vrindavana Gunair Vasanta Iva Lakshitaha Yatraste Bhagavan Sakshad Ramena Saha Keshavaha Sacha Vrindavana Gunair Vasanta Hiva Lakshitaha Yatrastre Bhagavan Sakshad Ramena Saha Keshavaha Sacha Vrindavana Gunair Vasanta Hiva Lakshitaha Yatraste Bhagavan Sakshat Ramena Saha Keshavaha Sacha Vrindavana Gunair Vasanta Hiva Lakshitaha Yathraste Bhagavan Sakshat Ramena Saha Keshavaha. Okay. Saha Keshavaha. Palakshitaha Ste Bhagavan Sakshat Amena Saha Keshavaha Nair Okay. Saha Keshavaha. Okay. Saha, this hot season. Cha, nevertheless. Vrindavana, of Sri Vrindavana. Gunahai, by the transcendental qualities. Vasantaha, springtime. Eva, as if. Lakshitaha, manifesting symptoms. Yatra, in which Vrindavana. Aste, remains. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sakshat, personally. Ramena, Saha, together with Lord Balarama. Keshavaha, Lord Sri Krishna. So, translation. And these are descriptive verses, so we're going to go over several verses today. Nevertheless, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally staying in Vrindavana, along with Balaram, summer manifested the qualities of spring. Such are the features of the land of Vrindavana. So you can repeat, nevertheless. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally staying in Vrindavana, along with Balaram. Summer manifested the qualities of spring. Such are the features of the land of Vrindavana. So there's no purport by the disciples and followers of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, but there are commentaries by the Acharyas, so I'm going to read some of them, because it's quite wonderful to dive deeply into these particular verses. So Jiva Goswami states that summer, however, Cha, was like spring because of the qualities of Vrindavan. In contact with Vrindavan, with Vrindavan, with eternal spring, it took on the qualities of spring. This is the power of Vrindavan because of its nature. Krishna and Balaram stayed there. Vishnu Purana says, Tasmat tvadaisha dushtatma hatta keshi janardana tasmat keshvanama tvam loke geo bhavishyasi. O Janardana, because Keshi was killed by you, you will be glorified as Keshava in this world. And also, traditionally, we're always thinking of Krishna being called Keshava. Does anyone know why? The hair.
And also means he's the controller of knowledge.
Yeah, that actually the Acharyas talk about Ka Isha. The Acharyas talk about that. So, but traditionally, Keshava means one who has beautiful hair, and also we're supposed to be also a type of Keshava, Keshahin. Does anyone know what Keshahin means? Without hair. Not the ladies, of course. They can have long, beautiful hair. And Prabhupada said the ladies' main business is what? What? Hair combing, that's right. Of course, not for devotees. It's not that their main business is hair combing. Anyway, that's another subject matter. Bhagavan, full of qualities, eternally plays there a state. The present tense is used to indicate that Krishna makes his appearance to the individual there even now. Wow. Actually, I should talk about these things. Let me finish with the commentaries here. Cha means, however. Keshava means he who makes Brahma, Ka, Vishnu, Awe, and Shiva, Isha, manifest, or he who has Brahma and Shiva as servants. Thus it refers to Krishna who reveals his powers as Bhagavan. Another meaning is found in the Vishnu Purana. Tasmatva Isha Dushtatva Hata Keshi Janardana. Tasmat Keshava Nama Tvam Loke Geo Bhavishyasi. O Janardana, this is what was quoted previously. Janardana, because Keshi was killed by you, will be glorified as Keshava in the world. Thus Keshava means the killer of Keshi. Krishna revealed powers and sweetness in Vrindavan in that place. Krishna remains Aste, manifested with Balaram, who gives him great pleasure. Ramena Saha. Balaram was most helpful, assisting him in the pastimes. Saha. Actually, I can comment a little on this before we go ahead. So let me read the Sanskrit again. Sacha Vrindavana Kornair Vasanta Iva Lakshita Yatrastre Bhagavan Sakshat Ramena Saha Keshavaha. So two questions come to my mind when I read this. One question, of course, deals with Vrindavan, and it's described here because of contact with Vrindavan. Even the summer season is like spring, and everything is just like very pleasant. However, my experience is with the weather, not with Krishna, of course, but my experience with the weather is quite different than is being described here. My experience is that I've been there in the summer, and I think Mother Irma has been there in the summer too. And as it was stated, I think it was by Rudyard Kipling, that nobody goes outside except for mad dogs and Englishmen in the middle of the summer. So it's an interesting statement, mad dogs and Englishmen, because it is so hot that after 8 o'clock in the morning, it's like walking into a convection oven. Seriously. So those of us who stay there in the summer, we go on parikrama either very early, actually early in the morning. I don't do it at night because the heat is still there to a certain extent. So early in the morning, it's quite pleasant. And then we end up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we go to our house. And then we lie down on the concrete to keep ourselves cool if we don't want to use the air conditioner, which generally we don't want to use. And so that's one experience. And then also there's the rainy season. So we were talking about, Mother Irma was talking about the seasons the other day, the rainy season too, which is also hot and humid. And it rains like torrentially all of a sudden. It's like someone took a bucket and poured it down. And not just like a gentle rain. And sometimes it's gentle rain, but just like, one time I was on parikrama around Vrindavan, around Govardhan, sorry. And, I was halfway around the hill, and I said, it's really beautiful today. It wasn't that hot. And then all of a sudden there was a torrential rain, and the water was up to my chest. And then I had to basically swim back like 7 kilometers back to where I was staying. Of course, and then, of course, you have all the sewerages that overflow and everything like that. It's not exactly healthy. And then you got all these nice cobras who are swimming with me. So, and then in the winter, it's really cold. So many people now, they die in the summer in Vrindavan. And then in the winter, it's extremely cold. People are gathered around the fire, burning plastic, and the air is really difficult to breathe. And of course, even during the harvest season, they're harvesting and they're burning the field, isn't it? And you can't breathe because all these little microparticles are in the air. So I'm reading this description. I'm thinking, what's happening? But anyway, so I've come to the conclusion that it's described when Krishna left Vrindavan. This is going back to one of my favorite literatures, is the Lalita Madhava. When Krishna left Vrindavan, the Jamuna dried up. And that's another point right now. You go to Vrindavan, and there's no Jamuna water. You may say now because of the pandemic that the Jamuna looks clear, but it's still just the Delhi sewerage. People have this illusion because it looks clear because the industrial stuff isn't going in anymore, that the Jamuna has come back, and the Jamuna has not come back. Actually, it's described that as Kali Yuga continues, the Jamuna, this is actually a symptom predicted, that the Jamuna will disappear, Govardhan will disappear, and of course, Govardhan's getting smaller and smaller. I actually remember when I first went to Govardhan in the early 1970s, that Govardhan was taller. A grain of mustard seed a day. I didn't take a micrometer or something like that to measure the thing with a laser beam. But, it was actually taller. And the Yamuna I remember, swimming in the clear waters of the Yamuna and having water fights with my godbrothers in there. It was kind of fun. And, like every day we'd try to go to the Yamuna and go swimming. It was just like a beautiful lake at that time. And then of course, another thing is we circumambulate Vrindavan in the early 70s. And it was all like sandy path. We call, where the temple is constructed is called, Raman Reti. Raman Reti means like pleasurable sands. Because it's where Krishna and Balaram would play. That's why Prabhupada installed Krishna and Balaram in the temple. And it was just so pleasant. I mean, there's even a tree called the Krishna Balaram tree. Does anyone remember that? There was like a white tree and a black tree growing together on the path. And you'd walk by the Goshala, and you'd hear the birds chirping. And also you woke up in the morning with the peacocks. It was interesting. I mean, peacocks would stay on some trees, and the vultures would stay on other trees. And you can tell which trees the vultures were on because the trees the vultures were on didn't have any leaves. They looked really terrible. But it was like you could picture Krishna there. You could picture Krishna there. And then, of course, Loy Bazaar was kind of hectic even in those days. But even like Dwadasaditya Tila, the hill. Dwadasaditya is called, Dwadasaditya means 12 sons. It's actually a beautiful story where Sanatana Goswami's temple of Madan Mohan is. It's called Dwadasaditya because Krishna, when he went to chastise the Kaliya serpent, dove into the Yamuna in the Kaliya lake, chastised the Kaliya serpent, got out, and he was shivering because it was a little cold. Because Krishna doesn't have a material body. He doesn't really get cold, but this is Yogamaya. He was shivering. And so he got on top of this hill to absorb the sun, and the sun, in order to serve Krishna, shone forth with 12 times the normal brilliance and heat. And so Krishna dried up on top of the hill. And that's where Sanatana Goswami constructed his Madan Mohan temple. And that's actually where, when he was just taking care of the deity, the deity was hanging from the tree because he didn't have any facility at that time. And that's where he meditated. And that's where Krishna provided a beautiful fresh water well. Has anybody? Of course, Mother Rama's been there, but some of you have been there. The fresh water well, and you go there. In the old days, I haven't been there lately because it's. Last time I tried to do a Vrindavan parikrama, I just started. It was just too nerve-wracking for me. I just couldn't do it. I mean, to visit the main temples in Vrindavan, it was just like every second. It was like it's like a bumper cars, or whatever. Not quite bumper cars, like in the old days, we would play this game with cars, facing each other, and whoever would go up, chicken. Isn't that chicken? And so it was just like, oh my God. I mean, actually, I was thinking, get me out of here. Get me back to Govardhan. Unfortunately, Govardhan has been declared in many places a green zone, and there's restrictions. So, but Vrindavan was like that in the 70s. I just really lament. And you go around Madan Mohan, you visit all the main temples, and it was just, Govindaji, and it was just like really, really peaceful. Really peaceful. Just like, wow. And you go into the Radha Damodar temple, and there's Prabhupada's quarters. You can sit in Prabhupada's quarters and chant japa and see where Prabhupada cooked. Prabhupada looked at the deities from his room and looked at the samadhis while he was taking prasadam, Rupa Goswami, like that. And Bhajan Kutirs. It was just amazing. And anyway, so I'm just describing Vrindavan as it was in the 70s, the early 70s. And, what's happening? I mean, is Vrindavan law? No, actually, this is a veneer. And as I got chastised for saying thin veneer, but anyway, this is a veneer. The veneer of Yogamaya actually covering, but Vrindavan is there. I'm not saying Vrindavan's not there. And in one sense, the Yamuna River is still flowing there, but you don't see her. You see what's, the bed of the Yamuna, and you see the water coming from Delhi at that point. But Yamuna is still there. But you really have to, now you really require spiritual vision. In the old days, even if you didn't have spiritual vision, you see Vrindavan. But now, I think you have to be really advanced in devotional service to see Vrindavan. So, anyway, and of course we have our Krishna Balaram Mandir, and that's still there, and it's wonderful, and it's, pretty much the same thing as crowds, but that's all right. People are coming to see Krishna and Balaram. And then, next to or right before a temple, people are erecting all these giant edifices, and some of the groups are really extremely bogus. I'm not going to mention names. I mean, some giant marble, $50 million temples being erected, and the people with the philosophy is just like, what? They're practically, in many cases, not even Mayavadis. They're just like, their philosophy is, anyway, and they were, child abusers or something like that, the acharyas, and just like, what's happening to Vrindavan right now? You're really caught up in this. Anyway, so Vrindavan, and on one level, it's described, quite referring back to Lita Madhava, that when Krishna left, the Yamuna River stopped flowing and the Govardhan shrunk. And so, in one sense, on one level I see that these are symptoms of separation from Krishna that Vrindavan is manifesting. And also, this veneer of Yogamaya to keep the rascals from really understanding the real Vrindavan, rascals like me, from seeing the real Vrindavan, because you really have to have spiritual vision. This protects it. This Yogamaya. All sorts of things happen in Krishna's pastimes in the Holy Dham to protect the Holy Dham or protect Krishna. For example, in the Bhagavatam, you have this, Moshe Leela, the disappearance of Krishna, the illusory disappearance of Krishna, right? Where Krishna appears to get shot in the foot by an arrow, Jara, who was Brigamuni. Because Brigamuni made some really big mistakes. He had to become like a low-class hunter. And then Krishna disappears from the planet, and then he leaves something that appears to be a body, and then... So you think, what's happening there? Well, what's happening is that these things are arranged to bewilder the atheists, to protect the sanctity. Because you don't want people who are envious of Krishna really to enter into like intimate understanding. Of course, they won't have an intimate understanding, but to just like fools rush in where angels fear to tread, or like bulls in china shops like me. So it's just like, these are protection things. And also it's Kali Yuga too. But this is all a veneer. So, all right, so that's the first point I wanted to mention here in regard to this verse. I hadn't planned, but reading the commentaries and the purports of the Acharyas, I came to that point. Another point is that, let me just get to that purport again so I can read this. It's quite interesting. Because of its nature, Krishna and Balaram state. So, in other words, Krishna is still. Well, here's the purport that I wanted to make. It says, the present tense is used to indicate that Krishna makes his appearance to the individual even now. So even now, Krishna is there. That's amazing. Krishna is there. You just can't see him. And sometimes you find devotees making up these stories that in certain kunjas every night that Krishna goes... you hear all these stories. That Krishna goes there, dance with Radharani, even the monkeys leave. So some devotee actually went and hid himself in Sevakunj to try to see Krishna that night. I think the monkeys just tore at him or something. Many people have tried that. And then you have the whole story of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where people thought that Krishna had come back and he was dancing on the heads of the Kaliya serpent, isn't it? And it was interesting. Lord Chaitanya was there with his servant Balabhadra, and everybody was going to say, "Oh, Krishna is come back to Vrindavan." And at night they'd see this flashing light in the Yamuna River, and even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal servant, who was with Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Radharani. He asked Lord Chaitanya permission to go to see Krishna. I mean, that's kind of funny. If you think about it, you're with Krishna. Krishna's right there with you. You say, "Krishna, can I go to see Krishna?" And so Lord Chaitanya, as a good instructor, he slapped him. Lord Chaitanya would do that sometimes. I mean, not abuse. He's not an abusive God. But he slapped him. Do you think Krishna is going to appear in Kali Yuga? That's nonsense. And of course, I mean, I understand the special devotees like Gopamangal Thakur and others like that. These are special cases, or where Raghunath Das Goswami was personally protected by Srimati Radharani from the sun, and Krishna was personally protecting him from the tigers. These are like really exceptions. But it's not that, there's going to be crowds and you get a stadium to see Krishna appear in Kali. Certain exceptional cases. Or like Radharani, the story we told the other day about Sanatana Goswami and Radharani and the braid. Remember that? That he chastised Rupa Goswami because Rupa Goswami, or corrected Rupa Goswami, because Rupa Goswami compared Radharani's hair braid to a snake, and then he saw Radharani, or Radharani came to Rupa Goswami to bring him ingredients for making something nice, sweet rice for Sanatana Goswami. Or Krishna came to Madhavendra Puri. I mean, these are real exceptional cases. Don't try for it. I mean, not that they asked Krishna to come. Krishna did come. So anyway, getting back to this story. So Lord Chaitanya slapped him and said, "Do you think that Krishna would come?" And so then later on, Lord Chaitanya asked a person in a little sarcastic way, "Have you seen Krishna?" And then the person explained it was simply a fisherman on the Yamuna. Of course, not suggesting you should fish in the Yamuna. The fish in the Yamuna are not prasad. Yamuna Pal, the fruit of the Yamuna. Anyway, so he says there's going to be a fisherman lighting a light to attract the fish in the middle of the night. It's not Krishna. And then the person said, "Yes, but Krishna has actually appeared." And how has Krishna appeared? Krishna has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you have to understand things shastrically, whether Krishna appears. I mean, Krishna can appear in your dreams, that's true. Krishna is there on the altar. I understand that. But as far as, until you become an absolutely pure devotee, when Krishna shakes your hand, that's described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. When you become absolutely pure, Krishna comes up and says, "I am Krishna, the person you've been worshiping the whole time. How do you do?" Or like he shook Lord Brahma's hand. So, but you can feel Krishna's presence in Vrindavan even today. And he is enacting his pastimes in Vrindavan even today. And the method that we should employ in worshiping Krishna was the method employed by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And that's the method of separation. This method or the mood of separation is actually very central to our becoming Krishna conscious. So when you go to Vrindavan, the whole point is to feel separation from Krishna. Or the Goswamis, to quote from Srinivasacharya, what is it? "Hey Radhe, Braja Devake, Hey Nanda, Shuno Kutaha." So that means, hey, oh Krishna. Because even the word Krishna is in vocative form, you understand? Vocative, calling out. Just like when we chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, sorry. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So when we chant Hare Krishna, it's vocative. You know, vocative means, oh, Radharani. Oh, Krishna, right? Oh. Whoop. Oh, Kali Yuga. So anyway, so oh, Krishna, oh, Radharani, oh, Radharaman. Actually, Rama means Radharaman. Many of the acharyas explain that. Oh, you know, even Balaram if you like, or Ramchandra. But anyway, it's vocative. So, hey, Radhe, Brajate Vike, hey, Nanda Suno Kutaha. This is like you have some devotees, I mean really good devotees, who just take it as their whole service to write Radhe, Shri Radhe, everywhere. You know, they just take I mean, that's amazing, isn't it, the devotion? And actually, when you meet people in Vrindavan, what do you say? Radhe, Radhe. And, of course, I tell that funny story that I got so much accustomed to that. I went to Mayapur after being in Vrindavan, and I started to greet people with Radhe, Radhe, and I got severely chastised. So, what? Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! I said, what does Hare Krishna mean? Anyway, so, hey Radhe, Braja Devake. Wow, what a verse. Braja Devake, goddess of Vrindavan, isn't it? Hey Nanda, Shuno, Kutaha, where are you? That's amazing, isn't it? You think about that. Oh, and son, sorry, I've got to translate that. Son of Nanda, or dearest of Nanda, where are you? Where are you? And Prabhupada describes, in this way, they were actually running around Vrindavan. Not just walking, you know. Hey, Radharani, hey Krishna, where are you? Oh, let's go to this temple today, Prabhu. Let's go to that temple. It was just like, I mean, even going to the temples, they would visit the main temples, obviously. It was like that mood. Krishna, where are you? Actually, there was an interesting song written about separation. I think it was by George Harrison, Ravi Shankar, or something like that. And some lady was singing. Anyway, I don't remember the song. Some of you may remember it. But it was, Krishna, where are you? And that's the mood of devotional service, that how we should be executing devotional service. Prabhupada said, the Sankirtan movement, because that's the mood of the gopis, actually. Prabhupada corroborated Ramaswar's statement that he said that Sankirtan preaching is in the mood of the gopis. And of course we have the Shikshastika. Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravashaitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda vidahena me. I'm just feeling your separation. So this is where a real source of lalyam, because Rupa Goswami states that if you want to be Krishna conscious, you got to be greedy. You know, beg, borrow, steals, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, get yourself the nectar of the holy name, right? So you got to be extremely greedy, or that's spiritual lust, extremely greedy. Of course, lalyam or greed is actually a cause of deviation from Krishna consciousness too. But so that greed comes as I want it. I want Krishna. So if we go to Vrindavan today, and we should go to Vrindavan and Govardhan, we go with that mood, not thinking that we're going to see Krishna under a bush, or under a rock or something like that. When you lift a rock up, you're going to see some snakes there anyway. So, but just like, Krishna, where are you? Let me find you, Krishna. Like you have Parikshit Maharaj, he's always looking for Krishna. Where is that person I saw? Or Narada Muni. Before Narada Muni was Narada Muni, he was a little boy and he saw Krishna once, isn't it? And he says, you're not going to see me again. Can you imagine that? You see Krishna, and he just tells you, that's it, buddy. You got to get purified before you could see me. Next life, you know. So now, of course, he's Narada Muni. He goes to see Krishna whenever he wants, comes and preaches, has a good old time. He's actually who I'd like to become like that. You know, he's like my role model. Narada Muni is pretty wonderful. Narada Muni Bhaja Bina Radhika Ramana nominee. So anyway, so I hadn't planned to talk about these things, but somehow he came out. And so that's the mood that we should cultivate in Krishna consciousness. So anybody have any questions? You got 1 minute left to class. Mother-in-law.
That 12-sun pastime, sometimes
Yeah.
it's described as happening right after Kali Yuga, which makes it summer season.
Yeah.
And other times it's described as happening in the foggy winter
Foggy
season.
season.
So it's the same husband that's described as happening. Maybe it happens twice.
Yeah. Because in the summer season, when Krishna was present, it was like cooler. You know, Krishna's presence just manifested. That was the point I was making at the beginning of class. Krishna's presence took away the edge of the difficult seasons. Like now it's the foggy season, like January. Not now, but in January it's the foggy season. You can't see anything. And you can't breathe, basically. And I'm sure it wasn't that bad when Krishna was there, you know. So Vrindavan actually, the veneer is getting thicker. Or more. An extra layer. So 2 veneers. Anyway, now it's a thick veneer. I know that's an oxymoron. So, all glories to divine grace. Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Golokananda ki jai.
Govindam Adi Purusham